Hi guys, my name's Shane Whitlock and this is my wood shop. The shop was built back in the 1940s. It's 1,200 square feet. It's kind of L-shaped. The main room here is 800 square feet. Got another 400 square feet in the back. Most of the machines you'll see in here, they're all old machines that I've picked up locally and restored. Most of them are in rough shape. I stripped them down to bare metal, repainted them, stripped all the rust off of them, polished them up, made them look pretty, added new bearings and electrical, whatever needs to be done, and got them up and running. So let me grab the camera and I'll give you a tour of the shop. So this is a main room. Like I said, it's 800 square feet and packed full of stuff. I do more machine restorations in here than I do woodworking, but that's got to change soon because I'm running out of room. Let's go ahead and head in the back room. We'll start back there. This big pegboard here is actually a door that slides and closes off the two rooms. I usually keep that shut because the phase converter is back here in the air compressor. That way you don't have to listen to them while they're running. You can see this machine, or this room, is kind of a catch-all for everything. I've got camping stuff in here, house stuff, yard, just a little bit of everything, so I need to clean it out. My plan is this big cabinet back here with all the shelves on it. I want to take that out, or at least take half of it out, move all the junk into the garage, and that'll free me up a lot of room back here so I can add the, my metal lathe back here and the power hacksaw, some of the metal working tools. And that'll free up more room in the main shop. So down the hall here we've got the bathroom, and we got a kind of a rat hole back here. Got a little couple machines stashed back here. There's a Delta scroll saw on the floor. There's 4 or 5 joiners up on the shelves. A couple tilty top table saws in there. Here we just got shelves full of machine parts and some bins. Got electrical and plumbing stuff in here. Got another one of those bins here full of nuts and bolts and screws, machine parts, whatever I need for restorations. Another pegboard, got pipe wrenches, pipe dies and stuff on. Next to that, that's the door that leads outside, out to the yard and over to the house. Got another shelf, rattle can paint. Couple toolboxes up here. Got a bunch of pipe or bearing pullers and stuff in there. There's 6 or 7 motors on top, and underneath a little rat hole with, there's a drill press under there and some other goodies. See there with the air hose on it, it's an anvil I made out of a piece of rail from railroad. Here we've got the 80-gallon 5 horsepower 3-phase compressor. Use that for running the air tools and paint guns and stuff. A bunch of hand tools, miscellaneous hand tools here. Here in the middle's 1982. It's a Rockwell Radial ram drill press. Very nice machine. I don't know if you've seen these. The heads slide in and out on the column here. Also pivot side to side. Then the head itself also pivots, so you can get to about any angle you need for drilling. Nice machinist table on it. Next to that, we got an Oxy Acetylene Torch, a couple pipe clamps sitting on a delta stand, a little MIG welder underneath there, and a Wilton vise mounted to the 8-foot bench here. Anvil and a buffer. Use a buffer for polishing up parts. Old Colombian vise, and then another small buffer. Up underneath there's another air compressor. I think there's also another welder up there. Use the air compressor when I'm painting outside. I just drag that out and use that for painting. Another grinder. It's got wire wheels on it. I use that for stripping paint and rust off of smaller parts or anything I can muscle up to the wheels there. Here we've got a little 30-inch Pextel box pan brake. Then in front of that's a engine lift. Use that for hauling, lifting machines in and out of trailers and lifting up the heavy parts off these machines. And back behind that there's a little stick welder. The power service, it's running a 100 amp service off of the house. This shop was originally built in the 40s and it didn't have any 220 out here, only 110. Next to that's American rotary 7.5 horsepower 3-phase converter. If you guys are looking for a phase converter, I highly recommend these guys. They do great. Customer service is fantastic. I bought this a few years back, and a couple weeks after I bought it, one of the reps called up, made sure I got it hooked up all right, make sure I was happy, and if I had any questions. So like I said, customer service was great. A couple of chainsaws up on top. Here on the floor, I've got an old chop cart. Next to that, that's a old 3-phase starter. It was in a fire, so I think what I'm going to do is gut the insides out and wire up a low voltage contact in there. I'm going to mount that out in the main shop and use that to turn the phase converter off and on. Shop back, and on the floor is a spooch tank for electrolysis. It's usually outside on my bench, but it's covered in snow right now. Got a couple old blacksmith post vise. I love these old vices. They do a great job. You can take a beating and keep on going. And also got a couple chain hoists hanging up here. So as you can see, this room's pretty cram-packed full of junk, so it's got to get cleaned out. Right, back out in the main shop, we've got GM Frigidaire Fridge. Keep the beverages cool in there. Got a little toaster oven on top, comes in handy for heating up bearings, or if I'm painting small parts I can throw it in there and dry them out a little quicker. And furnace for the heat. Next to that's it's a Marvel Model 4B power hacksaw. Very nice unit. I'm not sure of the year. Got a coolant system with it. Cuts very quick through the metal. Does a very nice job. My wife actually picked this up for me from a local school. Paid $100 for it. The guy was amazed that anybody was still interested in this machine. Had one busted part on it, and I fixed that up and it runs great. Next to that, we've got a 1950s Cincinnati 8-inch grinder. Then a little wood burning stove for burning wood scraps. Here we've got the 1941 Heavy 10 South Bend lathe. Picked that up locally from a gentleman for 50 bucks. It had come from a school. It was used and abused, ugly, painted a bright green and orange color, missing a lot of the parts. So I was able to track parts down from, on the internet and got it cleaned up, and this machine probably gets used more than any machine in the shop. That's the overhead door. Leads out to the highway out there. Use that to bring the machines in and out when there's not a bunch of stuff laying on the floor. You probably hear the traffic out there driving by. Here we got some line shafts, and I want to eventually get these cleaned up and mounted in the ceiling. Use that to run my probably bandsaw and a tinning machine that I've got. Back here in the corner, got a 1986 Boise crane spindle sander. I'm not sure if it's Boise crane or Boise crane. I've always say Boise crane, but picked that up for 50 bucks at a school auction. Missing the spindles. Had the throw plates, but the spindles were missing, so I turned those on the lathe. I just need to make some rubber drums for it. Front of that's a little wooden drum sander that me, my brother, and my dad made 10, 20 years ago. Actually does a good job. Behind is an old blueprint cabinet. It's just full of hand tools. I've got taps and dies and Allen wrenches, Dremel tools, shaper bits, hand planes in there, files, just miscellaneous tools. Here we've got a 1931 10-inch Delta Specialty Company bandsaw. This is one of the first machines I picked up in my shop. I didn't restore it. It was done by the gentleman I bought it from. He did a really nice job on it. So I built the stand for it and put a motor on it and fired her up. And next to that we've got this big monster. It's a late 1800s, early 1900s 36-inch bandsaw made by the Enterprise Manufacturing Company. It's flat belt driven, 5-horse 3-phase motor on it. Picked that up for 100 bucks. It'd been sitting outside for decades, rusting away. Paint was mostly flaked off. It looked pretty ugly, but cleaned up nice. You can see the original planing marks on the table. And here we've got a 1942. It's a 24-inch planer. It's a Newman Model 600. Ugly shape. That'll be next in line to get restored, I hope. It's a very nice machine. Direct drive, 5-horsepower, 3-phase motor. Got a nice Art Deco design on the doors. Look inside, it's all gear and chain driven. This was heading to the scrap yard. I gave the guy $200 for it. As you can see, most of these machines I picked up cheap. I'm giving the prices, just not because I'm bragging, but I just, some of them I got pretty sweet deals on. But just to let you know, these industrial machines are still out there, and you can pick them up at a good price. So go ahead and fix them up, and you got a real nice machine in your shop. Back behind, let's see, like I said, that's a sliding door to get, to the back shop. It's got hand tools, some planes and braces and stuff that I've restored. Little egg beater drills. Here in front we've got a 1865 J.A. Fay and Company 10-inner. This was given to me by a guy up in Brigham City. He had a planing mill up there that caught on fire back in 2008 or 2006. So this machine was on fire. It was in real rough shape. The guy, like I said, gave me this for hauling all his other machines out of the old mill and putting them in storage for him. I was able to strip her down to bare metal. A couple spots that there was sawdust caked on it, kind of preserved the paint, original paint from the fire, so I was able to track down the original colors. So this is pretty much original to how it looked back in 1865. It's just an absolutely beautiful machine. You can see the scroll work in there, and canthus leaves and the rope detail. You know how they cast something like that. The whole base is, all four sides is one solid piece. So I don't know how they were able to do work like that back then, 150 years ago. The pinstriping is based off of another 1860s Fay scroll saw found on the internet. I emailed the owner and he sent me some detailed pictures of his machine. His colors are real close to this too. So this is eventually going to get powered by the line shaft, but until then I'm just going to run it off this 3-phase 5 horsepower Century motor. You notice the heads aren't on it yet. I just shipped those off to Bobby at Woodworkers Tool Works. He's rebuilding them for me. If you guys ever need any parts for these machines, you need table saw blades, bandsaw tires, custom router bits or shaper knives, he's the guy to go to. He'll take care of you, and he's very reasonable on his prices. So next to the tinning machine, we've got the Mortising Machine. It's a model 316 Wysong and Miles. Also paid $200 for that. Got it from the same guy that I got the planer from. It was in probably worse shape than what the planer looks like. It cleaned up nice. It's a foot pedal here for moving the head up and down. One modification I made to it was got rid of the old chuck and put a little Jacobs chuck inside. Makes it a little easier for changing the bits. And next to that, we've got a 1960s Boise crane 24-inch scroll saw. It's in all original condition. Paid $100 from that. I got it from the same guy that I got the lathe from. Nice machine, runs very smooth. Just runs off of 110 power. Next to that's a 1953 Walker Turner shaper. It's a 3/4 inch spindle. It's also in original condition. Picked this up for $200. It's a 3-phase machine. I like the fence system on it. It's really easy to adjust and get set up. And behind those, we just got more cabinets, storage. A bunch of old handsaws up there. It's an old Lion guillotine trimmer, number 4. Alright, here we've got, what year is it? 1954. Dewalt Radial arm saw, model MBC. Picked that up at school auction for, I think I paid $50, $60 for it. It was painted the ugly green speckled color on it. Stripped her down, made the base for it, added the table. Next to that, we've got another 8-foot bench with probably the only new machine in here that I really use. It's still probably 20 years old, but it's a little Dewalt Chop Saw. I'm thinking of taking this bench out, getting rid of the saw. That'll free up a little bit more room in here. More shelves up here. An old what is it, Detroit belt lacer for lacing up flat belts, putting the clips on them. More shelves, got the TV for watching woodworking shows. A couple of hand tools, hand machines that I picked up from the swap meets. A little sander that one of my buddies gave me. Got the laptop out here. So actually I'm editing I shot a video of the bandsaw running, so go ahead and check that out. I'll get that posted soon. This bench is 12 feet long. Got a nice little Richards Wilcox vise on the one end and an older Colombian vise on the other end. It's got kind of a cool handle on it I've never seen before. Here at the end, we've got a 1940s Buffalo Forge Company drill press, model 15M. I think I paid $40 for that from a guy down the road. It's got a nice fixed machinist base on it. You see the stand doesn't move. Actually, to adjust it, the head raises and lowers on the shaft here. And next to that's a router table that I need to get rid of. It hasn't been used in years. Then a dust collector, Delta dust collector. And then just the rack clamp storage here. That cabinet I keep paint and stains and stuff in. Here below we've got a 1905 Crescent Machine Company. It's an 18-inch joiner. Gets used more as a bench than anything lately. Originally had a square head cutter in it. I took that out and I found a 24-inch head. It's a 4-knife head. Come out of a Powermatic planer. So I had the ends turned down on that to fit the 18-inch, and I need to pour the Babbitt in it, get it up and running. Hopefully I can get that done this summer. It's going to be powered with the 5 horsepower Allis Chalmers motor. Yeah, so here on the floor we've got a little 4-inch precision joiner by Homecraft. Then on top of the joiner here we've got another joiner. It's an Oliver 133 6-inch joiner. Kind of a nice little machine. It's direct drive, single phase. It's got the old clamshell head in it though, and a couple of the bolts are busted. So I need to find a replacement for that. That one's not safe to use. Alright, next to that is a 1941 Yates American 6-inch joiner. It's a good looking joiner. Got nice sexy curves to it. Nice Art Deco design. It's 3-phase direct drive motor. I think it's a 1/2 horse. Kind of small, but I haven't ran out of power with it yet. And next to that we've got a 1972 Rockwell 6x48 belt sander. I think I paid $100 for that. I also paid $100 for that little joiner there. That come out of Utah State University. This come out of a local cabinet shop. I bought that and then a 6-inch Delta or an 8-inch Delta joiner from them that I restored and sold not too long ago. And next to that, what year is it? 1985 Max Oscillating Spindle Sander. This was a sander that was on my quest list. I probably paid more for this than any machine in my shop. I bought it from a school auction for $500. It's all complete. All the spindles are there. Throw plates are there. The machine it's all cast aluminum. It's really light except for the table. Has a 3-phase motor in it. I wired up this frequency driver so I can get variable speed and then run it off a single phase power. It's a good looking machine. This is the door to the outside. Here's one of Woodworker's, I don't know what do you call that. It's just a tap and drill size chart. But anyway, like I said, if you need supplies, this is the place to go. Bobby does a great job there. Here we've got a little Homecraft 8-inch disc sander. Then out in the middle of the shop, got 1956 Oliver. It's a 270D table saw. 3 horsepower, 3-phase motor in there. Very nice machine. I've got a video here on YouTube of this doing the nickel test. Actually, it's a pocket change. I get pennies and nickels and quarters standing on edge, and I cut a piece of wood through it. And the coins are still standing. Very smooth. It's got a nice Type H tilting rack and pinion fence on it. I ended up paying more for the fence than I did for the whole saw, but it's a nice fence. It was worth it. Then a couple months ago I tracked down this Oliver Type G fence for it. And a number 2 miter for it. The miter come with the saw. And the fence that was on this I'm using on the bandsaw now. So that's pretty much it. If you got any questions, leave me a comment here on YouTube or one of the forums that I post on. I've also got my own website. It's at ShaneWhitlock.com. So I've got before, during, and after pictures of all the restorations I've done on all these machines. Probably plus another 30 or 40 other machines that I've sold or got rid of. Here you can see some of the before pictures. Here we've got the South Bend lathe. Like I said, that was ugly green and orange color. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and thanks for watching.